Hey. So tonight's live is going to save somebody years of wasted effort because the number one question I get every single day is, Broadus, how do I get hired when I don't have experience? Or, sorry, it's two questions. How can I gain experience if no one hires me to get experience? And I just want y'all to understand really, some truth here. All right. Most people have been lied about how experience is actually created. And I'm gonna show y'all an exact system a process that engineers use. And it's the same system really that took me from a 42K a year banker to landing my first six-figure cloud job to running a cloud program that is changing lives. All right. So what I'm going to give you tonight is a process that engineers use. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Broadus Palmer. I'm cloud career coach and founder of Level Up in Tech, where we help mid-career professionals land cloud engineer roles by learning how to solve problems as cloud engineers without wasting effort and time on things that don't move the needle. All right. So, if you're ready for the value, if you got your pen and pad, if you can see and hear me well, put LU in the chat because I want to make sure y'all get this. I don't want to waste your time for these minutes that we have, and I want to make sure that you're getting something out of this. So make sure you got your notes on your phone, or your computer, or you're actually taking notes. But put LU in the chat if you're ready. I'm gonna make sure everyone can hear and see me well. And let me check my Instagram as well. Okay, cool. We good. All right. Okay. Everything looks good. Okay. So what y'all gotta understand is when I first started in cloud, excuse me, I was just watching videos, consuming videos like crazy. And I was just doing what everyone said to do. But here's the thing though, I wasn't getting better. I wasn't getting better at all. Um, And the crazy thing is, like, my grandfather is mechanic, and a lot of my friends are mechanics. And as I was trying to learn this thing, I thought I could learn it just by sit back, consuming content just like this. But one day, my friend was working on my vehicle because I had a Volkswagen. It was called CC Comfort Coupe. That would this thing was a lemon. Like, I got it in 2013. I had it till 2017, and it was a 2012. And I probably, as I was paying payments on this thing, I probably put almost 10K from a new motor to a new transmission to core packs every week. So something happened on it this particular time, and my friend was just getting hands on, trying to fix the problem, diagnosing, etc. And he was like, "Man, hey, you ain't, we're trying to find a problem, and the only thing to do is just really dive in to really test and see what's going on, and then try to fix it from there." And that was one of the things where I realized that I wasn't going to learn what I needed to learn just by watching videos and passing the certifications. I was actually going to learn what I needed to learn by getting hands on and fixing stuff. Right? I know what a motor is supposed to do. I know what a transmission is supposed to do, right? But what I don't know is what I'm supposed to do or how I'm supposed to fix it when it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. All right. And that exactly is the process of what you're going to be doing in cloud as a cloud engineer. All right. Engineers think like mechanics. It's a process like mechanics, right? We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to solve the problem to help the business or impact the business to achieve the business outcome. So we're trying to solve the problem or build the solution, which is solving the problem in itself, that impacts the business and helps achieve the business outcome, regardless of the task that you have, right? Regardless of your role, simple, complex, everything that you're doing is achieving a business outcome. And we have to understand that. All right. So you've been taught that experience comes from watching videos like I did, right? Taking more courses, like, oh man, I got to learn Kubernetes. So, I took my 5th Kubernetes course and building perfect projects. Like, well, brothers, what do you mean perfect projects? Well, I mean projects that go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. I'm going to show you how to XYZ. Step 1, I did this. Step 2, I did this. Step 3, 4, 5. Done. But what you don't realize is when you're in an interview, they don't really care about like if your solution works, right? Because I mean, most of the time, let's be honest, most of the time that when you're in an interview, the solution that you build, the projects that you build, if you're talking about projects, have nothing to do with their solution because they have a custom solution, whatever the case may be. But you're going to get hired because you can explain what you did when the project didn't work, or explain what you did to build that solution to help a business impact their business to help a business outcome. All right. And that's the difference between like someone who just watches videos and be certified and someone who's going to get the job. So I want to see how many people on here real quick. How many of you raise your hand if you've already been working on projects, and give me a thumbs up if you've thought about it, but you haven't necessarily taken the step yet. So hands up if you've already been working on projects, and thumbs up if you thought about it, but you haven't taken that step yet. Let me see how many people out here that's on here. Let's see. And it might be a little delay. So you know how that goes with any stream that we have. All right. So I'm gonna keep going. So when we see those people raising their hands or thumbs up, it's all fine and dandy. Um, with engineering teams, right? There's a process that everyone uses, and whether it's a troubleshooting process or just a process to build a solution. And a lot of times you won't find it in the cloud documentation cloud documentation helps you figure out how to deploy something, right? But a lot of times it doesn't really tell you what to do when it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, right? It just says, hey, this is what it's supposed to do. This is how you make it do. But the process is really called reverse engineering and the cloud troubleshooting framework, right? So it means you don't wait for the experience, right? You manufacture the experience. If you don't have a tech background, it doesn't matter. If you don't have a job yet, it doesn't matter, right? Because experience is not really time based. Experience is how did you solve that problem? So here's another story, and don't laugh at me, y'all. Don't laugh at me. So, and I didn't know what I didn't know, but you know, our garbage disposer, whatever, uh, broke probably last year or something like that. And I was like, I don't know nothing about that, man. Hey, I asked a friend, hey, can you come over and help me? He's like, yeah, yeah, I can help you, brother. And he fixed the garbage disposal. And What happened is, he got a new one and hooked it up for me. But what happened is he didn't knock. It's a little piece in the, uh, I guess what you want to call it, tube that connects to the sink that he didn't knock out to allow the water to flow from the garbage disposal back into the pipes, etc. So it didn't work. So I was like, you know what? Let me figure this out myself and try to see if I can do this myself. And I figured it out, looked at some tutorials, figured out how to solve the problem, knocked the thing out, hooked it back up, and boom. And it was easy. And it took me about 20 minutes to do. And after I did it, I was like, man, I didn't have to call him. I could have did this myself. I could have done this myself. But I felt so proud of myself because it was a thing that I just put off. And I was like, I don't have the ability to learn that. I don't know anything about that. And I sat down for 20 minutes and I was able to solve this problem. And that's exactly like right now, if somebody called me and said, hey man, I got a problem with my garbage disposal, man, it won't work. I just need to connect a new one. I could probably do it for them. I have the confidence. And what you got to understand is that's what confidence comes from. It's the reps that you're scared to do. Because I was scared to do it because I thought I was going to mess something up. I was like, man, I'll probably mess something up that's electrical, like mess my plumbing up. I ain't touching that. But now I'm super confident that it's super easy. Like even if I had to troubleshoot some things, I probably could figure it out. And that's where most of you are right now, where you're scared to get into the nitty gritty of the projects because you're scared you're going to break something. But I'm here to tell you that that is the mechanism that's going to forge you into the engineer, because once you get done, then you're going to realize it was nothing to be scared of in the first place. And you have confidence in your ability to do it again, which is repetition, right? That is the step that's going to help you get higher. Is your ability to do enough reps where you can talk about what you've done and your experiences that are probably different, maybe each rep, right? The last 3 times I did this, it was all different. And this is the 3 things that went different and that I solved. But now you have the confidence that if you were faced with this problem again and you hired me, I am confident I can probably figure this out. And that is the energy that you want to assume and project to the person that you're interviewing with. You understand me? If it makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it makes sense, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So I'm going to teach you some steps that's going to help you understand how you can build the experience, even if you don't have a job right now. Okay. So step number 1, y'all ready? Step number 1, we're going to pick one scenario. We're not going to pick a tool. We're not going to pick a service. We're going to pick a scenario. Well, brothers, how can you, pick a scenario? So let's do this. Let's see if it allows me to share my screen here. Okay. All right, just make sure everyone can see my screen here. Yep. So what I did was I just typed in before this, what are the top problematic scenarios companies face right now in public cloud? And it's giving me some top problematic scenarios companies face. Number 1, misconfigure IAM, over permission roles, security incidents, right? Why is it a problem? Too many wildcard permissions, roles created for temporary debugging that never get clean, etc. The impact, then it gives you, this is where cloud engineers prove their value, fixing IAM without breaking deployments. But number 2, runaway cloud costs, right? Companies lose millions because they're not setting up and configuring their deployments correctly, right? So auto scaling configured wrong, idle resources not cleaned, right? Over provisioned compute. So launching a M5 large server when you don't need that big of a server or that much capacity, right? Data transfer costs misunderstood. Number three, multi-region and high availability outages. Number four, S3 misconfigurations, breaches, denied access, broken sites. We see this happen more than anything right here. Number four. Number five, Terraform drift, failed applies killing deployments, right? So manual changes outside Terraform, which is drift, invalid state files, destroy, recreate cycles that break production. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And my point is, let me stop sharing this real quick. And my point is, all you have to do is ask ChatGPT what are some of the biggest problems, scenarios that companies face that are in public cloud, AWS, Azure, GCP. So we're just going to pick one scenario. All right. So, for example, a business needs a static website, right? And you want to make sure it's configured correctly and everyone has the right permissions, or end users have the right permissions, where you can block an attack, you can stop people from accessing different items that you don't want to show up on your site, etc., right? Because hackers can hack, people can infiltrate your deployments or your configuration. If you don't have the correct process and the correct architecture around what you're building, and you don't know what you're doing, then that can cause problems, right? So, Fathers, well, how can we showcase like these things? What can we do to just show that I can solve these problems? Because I really need to get on my feet and get a job. Well, listen, I'm gonna say you must build experience, or you must show experience by building projects that show one of these five categories. So that is a broken configuration problem, right? So IAM, S3, permissions, networking, deployment problems, right? Visibility and monitoring problems, security problems, right? Principal of least privilege, misconfigurations, and scaling problems. Stick to those five major scenarios or categories of problems, and you'll be able to showcase your ability to fix the major problems that companies face. So, this sounds like it's super simple and basic. Yes, because guess what? Most of the problems companies face, especially in security, are super simple and basic steps that people missed that cost companies millions. Like, for instance, I had a student that landed a role simply because of two things. They were able to explain the business reason behind their S3 and CloudFront static site deployment, and they were able to talk about the business reason behind them deploying a dynamic website on a server, and help the site scale with other servers and a load balancer that evenly distributed traffic to those servers with um, encryption, and I'm not encryption, but um, security, SSL, um, that allowed uh, encrypted traffic to hit those servers. Just because they understood the business logic and the business impact, and they said it with confidence that facing that type of problem, they were confident that they were able to do this over and over again. All right. So just so you follow me, pick a scenario. All right. I just showed you how to find a scenario on ChatGPT, but it needs to be one of five categories of problems: broken configuration, deployment problems, visibility and monitoring problems, security problems, and scaling problems. All right. Step number two is, the goal is not really complexity, right? The goal is really to create a working baseline so you can learn from it. So, for instance, like if we did the static website scenario, excuse me, then for our static website scenario, we're going to use S3, we're going to use CloudFront, we're going to use Route 53, we're going to use IAM. And guess what? We can build it all in Terraform, right? So it's simple and repeatable, right? So simple, clean, functional. All right. So like some of the things I was putting together, even when I was coming to the industry, worked by accident, right? And you know how sometimes you just be in a groove and you're just working, you're trying to fix something, you're working, and it end up working, and you be like, damn, I don't even know how that I don't even know how that worked. Like I couldn't reproduce it if I could, right? But then you do it over and over again, you get your reps in, and then you understand, oh, this is what happened. Boom. And everything just clicks, right? But why does it click? Because you only get better when you continue to do the reps and you understand why something works. This is what this is all about. It's not about, hey, look at this. I built this. Because we can build a lot of things, but we have to understand if we're building something and it's our house, if it breaks, we gotta be the one to fix it. Right. So we couldn't, we can't really sit here and say, yes, I built this, and then they ask you questions about it, and you're like, well, I just followed that tutorial and I did everything it told me. Nah. Why? Why would you design this type of solution? Matter of fact, why would you, if you're using Terraform, right, over cloud formation to build this in AWS, why would you use Terraform? Right? Why would you assign these permissions to a role or a user? Right? Why would you do this? Why would you always have to have an understanding of, like, even if it's just basic, well, I use this because of that. Cool, great. Right. So then guess what? We start asking ourselves questions. Well, what happens if I use this? And you could just research or get hands on and start building. Well, what happens if I use CloudFormation instead of Terraform? Like, what's the difference? I don't know. Let me build out a CloudFormation template with ChatGPT or Claude, probably Claude preferred for code, and then see how it works. Y'all following? Y'all tracking? I just want to make sure y'all getting some out of this. Okay. So step 3, break it. Break it, because if you reverse engineer to learn how to break it, then you know how to fix it, right? Okay, well, my policy with S3, I got right now, I'm allowing, you know, this person from this account to access this bucket and everything in this bucket. But what if I put some wrong characters, or what if I have another individual or everyone being able to access this? How can I fix that? Well, we already know, we just did it, right? So you intentionally breaking it automatically reverse engineers in your head to show you how to intentionally fix it. So when something happens, right, and someone else in your team, or if you get hired, or if you go through another project or workshop, etc., or a lab or whatever you're doing, and something's not working, you can automatically go to that thing like, well, it's probably this or it's probably that, because I intentionally broke it before and I know that's probably what it is. Like, think about how quickly you can go back to understanding how to fix it if you just intentionally break things. And here you are, scared to break anything. Yeah, yeah. We got rep home team. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see it. You know, see it. Yeah. Y'all see that. Anyway, so I just want to make sure y'all tracking and y'all getting this right. If you're scared to just get out there in the field, if you're scared to go out there and dribble the ball and shoot, how you gonna get better as a player? You're scared to catch the ball. How you gonna get better as a player? Like, you can't be on the field without getting hit. What do you mean? You can't be a cloud engineer without failing. Failing is how you learn. Like, you're not gonna be, like, you can't take repetitions of success, and think that, yes, I'm succeeding and I'm gonna get it. Because when you get into a role and something breaks, you're not gonna even know how to handle it. You're gonna That stress is gonna be, oh my god, like, so we need, while you think you need to be successful in your deployments, you just need to show how you can fix them, or how, yes, we want success, But in the end, I want to see your process. Like, what's your process? Show me your process. Process equals profits. This is in business as well, right? So I got a little story that takes business and matches with cloud engineering. So I have a friend that owned a clothing store. He sells sneakers and sold clothes, and it wasn't doing very well. And he's just like, man, I don't know what's going on. And I noticed, like, when I came in, the people that he had hired, they didn't say anything. And then, like, I come in there, I look, they didn't ask me whatever. And then maybe 10 minutes, they were like, hey, can I help you with something? Like, nah, bro. I'm just browsing. Right. And I did this a few times. And he was like, man, I just can't figure out, like, why sales are low and people come in and they don't buy. And I was like, look, man, like, what if you had a process for every time someone comes into the store that potentially can lead them to the register? Like, what do you mean? Like, what if you had like a 3-step or 4-step process? Like, just something simple. Like, as soon as they walk in the door, hey, how you doing? Welcome to such and such. Is there anything I can help you find today? Or is there anything you're looking for in particular? Right? Oh, no, I'm just browsing. Okay, leave them alone. 5 minutes later or 2 minutes later, whatever. Step 2. Hey, if you see them looking at something, step 2. Hey, can I help you find that in your size? Right? Step 3. Hey, well, this would be a perfect match with this, etc. That's an upsell, right? And step 4, hey, I'll take these over and hold them over at the register until you get done shopping. If this is you're set on this, right? So these steps, and it's simple, right? This is not even flushed out steps, but it's a simple process to help them get the customer in, or the customer comes in the door, help the customer feel seen, help the customer with the great experience, and get the customer to the register. Right? This is exactly what you're doing. You have a process that shows when something is wrong, this is what I do first, right? Oh, I can't SSH into my EC2 instance. The first thing I'm going to do is check my security groups, right? To make sure I have the right access, period. This is just a process that creates profits. And everyone that has a process, this is a process that you can continuously use over and over and over in your business, in your career. The process will never go away. And the more, see, you think it's about knowing the services and all of this. That comes with the process. The more you know your process, the more confident you become in that process. The more confident you can talk about your projects in the interview, the more confident you become when you on the job. It's not because you know the services, it's because you develop reps within your process over and over and over so much that you know it like the back of your head. Can I get an amen on something like that? Somebody, and I'm talking to somebody. I'm talking to someone. Are y'all tracking with me? All right. So we're going to break it on purpose so we can show our process, reverse engineer, right? Because when something breaks, your brain forms connections that no course can give you. This is what turns you right now as a beginner who's studying cloud, right? Into a real problem solver, to someone who's going to get paid to do the cloud work. All right. So step number 4, troubleshoot using logs. The first thing, what happens if we have some issues or, a, server didn't deploy right, or the package didn't download, or something, the process is locked on my server, my instance. The first thing we can do is just go to logs. Logs tell you almost everything, or pretty much everything, right? And this is what hiring managers test, because the engineers that do a great job, they don't guess. Guess what they do? Guess what to do? Tell me why they don't guess, y'all. Why do you think they don't guess? Because they have a, right? They follow the evidence. They have a process of like, okay, we're going to check these. Also, going to check the CloudWatch logs. We're going to check, CloudTrail. We're going to, possibly look at documentation, and we're going to validate, we're going to fix it, and we're going to retest. That's what's going to happen. So that's why you see senior people, intermediate associates, they don't trip over broken deployments, etc. Because if they've developed that process, I say it again, they developed the process over and over and over, and they did so many reps that they just became confident in their process. So that means it doesn't matter about the service, the tool. They just have the process. Understand? Gotcha. So step 5, document the fix. This creates your experience. All right. So this is, if you don't document anything you're doing, it's almost like, so think of documentation as your contract. If when you're doing a deal with someone and y'all make an agreement, oh man, yeah, I'm gonna do this for you, man. $2,000, man, I'll do it for you. Or man, I'm gonna sell you this car, man. $5,000, I'm gonna sell it to you. Oh man, this person said they want to hire me to do some, content, and they're gonna pay me $4,000. And every time I have conversations with people, we talk about, oh, what they're gonna do. The only thing I think in my mind is, well, if it ain't on paper, it don't exist. Same thing, same way you need to look at your documentation. If it's not on paper, it doesn't exist. You can say you did it, but show, right? If I'm looking for someone to redo my wall here, right? Now I want, instead of brick, I want, y'all seen those little penny floors where they took pennies and they did this little ceiling over the pennies and it just looked gorgeous. I want pennies on the wall. And somebody comes to me and says, yo, I could do that. I could definitely do that, man. I'm gonna charge you 10,000, do the pennies. Show me. You did this before. Show me. Oh no, man. I ain't even got no pictures or nothing, man. Well, I can't pay you. Sorry. You ain't gonna do my wall. I don't know who the hell wall you gonna do without proof that you can do it, but you're not gonna do mine. That's the same way. We got to look at documentation. You need to write down what you expected, what broke, how you investigated, what was the root cause, how you fixed it, and how you prevent it. This becomes GitHub README. This becomes your LinkedIn content. This becomes your interview story. This becomes why they hire you. Partners, can you say that again? I forgot. Well, you're supposed to hide your notes. You're supposed to be taking notes right now. You're supposed to be, okay, I'm going to say it one more time. So for those of you who ain't listening, you need to listen now. Write down what you expected, what broke, how you investigated, what was the root cause, how you fixed it, how you prevent it. Because that becomes your LinkedIn content. That becomes your GitHub portfolio, your Medium portfolio. That becomes your interview story. And that becomes why you get hired. Are we tracking? Are we tracking? Put your hands up. Are we tracking? Let me make sure we're tracking over here on Instagram. We tracking? Okay. We tracking. All right. So I would love to share my Cloudflip app with you, see what you think. Hey, Eric, send it over, man. I know you've been doing amazing things. We had a few conversations. Send it over, brother. All right. So, how can you demonstrate critical thinking and technical reasoning through case studies, even if you hadn't had a tech job yet? Well, how would you solve the problem? That's your critical thinking. Like your critical thinking doesn't need to be a certain process that's by the industry, right? Like, so how can I say this? Your creative way of solving problems from whatever industry you come from is your creative way. That's what companies are going to pay for. They're not really looking, yeah, they're looking for industry or industrialized a framework, but they're really looking for someone who can bring new, fresh air, new eyes to a situation. And all you have to do is document your process of how you solve the problem. That becomes your case study, right? That becomes what you looked at the problem to be, where you see the problem to go, how you fixed it, and how you prevent it again. And from my thought process and from my eyes, this is how you can solve a lot of these problems around the industry. That's your thought process. All right. So look, I want y'all to hear me clearly. Okay. You don't need a job to earn experience. The exposure gives you the experience, but you do need a framework. You do need a process. You don't need permission to start thinking like an engineer. You just need a system that shows companies your process. The process, once again, that you have refined over and over and over again to where you know it like the back of your hand. And if you're not doing that in 2026, that is going to be the reason why you're going to not land any roles, because you're all about stuffing yourself full of the information, but not prepping yourself for the transformation. Mm. So once you start building, once you start breaking stuff, once you start fixing stuff, and once you document it, because that is the proof, everything's going to change. And once again, it's not about the tools and services, it's about your process and how you use them. Okay. So, with that being said, I want to invite any one of you that, let me get this straight real quick. Give me 1 second. I want to invite y'all to my school community. If you haven't joined, so school.com/cloud career accelerator. Make sure you join this community. Free projects, free courses, everything to really just get you started. It's a Kickstarter community to help you understand what is cloud, how much can you make, um, what kind of jobs you can get, right? How can you actually land these roles? And then we go ahead and serve you the fundamentals and then push you by helping you solve some foundational projects. All right. Join that community now. But with that being said, I hope this was valuable to you all. And I hope you got something out of this. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, all of that good stuff, right? Until next time, until next week. Love y'all. Let's keep leveling up and see y'all later. Bye.